think, well, we've got 6 pork chops. That's an even number, so I can just do like a slice right down the middle, and then cut each half into thirds. Yeah, that should make a nice even. I won't have to like measure 6 beforehand, so that should make it easier. So I take my knife, I go right down the middle, and
Malik, any word from Pritchard?
okay.
I'm right here,
So
Jensen.
I start making a big slice like right down the middle of the entire roast. And I realize as soon as I do this, oh shit, this is a horrible idea. Because the knife barely cuts like halfway through it.
Oh god.
And I have to like saw my way through the whole roast with a knife that's like not serrated. So I'm like, oh Jesus, what have I gotten myself into? This is the part that I also realize we're not really supposed to cut the meat up in our department. Like occasionally we do if people will be like, I've got like this whole rack of ribs and I want just like a few of them. We're allowed to like kind of cut that up and wrap it, but we're not supposed to cut like the big pieces of meat. But I was thinking, because we do the small things and I've seen people do the small things, I might as well just...
Alright.
So yeah, I remember, damn it, I shouldn't be doing this, and this is not going to work very well, and even if we were supposed to do this, I'm sure this is not the way you're supposed to do it. Like, if you're gonna cut a roast into pork chops, you're not supposed to use a big knife. So I'm like, oh god, this is not going to end very well. And so I kind of keep cutting through the, I cut through the halfway, and I think, well, I've gotten myself into it now. I can't really just say, no, I'm not going to do this anymore, and then, like, throw away the entire roast. I don't want to do that. So, I start trying to cut one of the halves into thirds, and of course, now I've got, like, this little tiny sliver I'm trying to cut through, which of course makes it, like, way more difficult than even cutting through the... What the fuck? Did you wreck gravity?
A little bit. Alright. Alright.
So, I'm barely even able to keep the roast, like, sitting upright so I can cut through it. So I'm kind of, like, supporting it with my hand, like, over the top of it and cutting the knife, like, under my hand. It's like I'm almost cutting myself. Like, it's kind of dangerous now at this point.
Where do you think you're going,
But
buddy?
I'm still doing it anyway.
This is a restricted
So I get
area.
one third of the piece cut off, and it looks like shit. Like, it was the edge of the roast, so it wasn't like fully intact and was kind of like falling apart. There's like 4 pieces to it, but I kind of like geometrically arranged them so it almost looks like a chop. And I kind of like hold it in my hand and I turn around and they're all standing there like waiting for me to cut this thing. And so I show it to them in the palm of my hand. I'm like, this is what I did. It's not working so well. This is kind of a chop, I guess, if you want to call it that. It resembles a chop. Is this, like, I don't think I can do it very much better than this. Is this, like, do you want me to stop? Should I just not try this anymore? And so, the wife is looking, like, kind of upset. She looks angry, but she's not really saying anything. And then some of the guys are kind of just, like, talking to each other, like, back and forth. They're like, yeah, we're just gonna cook it up and, like batter it or whatever the hell they were doing. Like, so, I don't know, it should be okay still. We'll just, yeah, sure, keep going. You might as well cut the rest of them. I'm like, oh, fuck, damn it. I wanted you to say no. So I have an excuse to, like, throw away this monstrosity. And, like, so I keep going. And now I have an even thinner sliver that I have to cut in half again. And, like, there's a few... What?
I have no track rifle.
What? What does that mean?
It means I have no trank rifle.
I thought you did.
I thought I did too.
Oh.
Huh. Well,
Oh no, you had a trank, like, handgun.
you have my stun gun.
Yeah, that. You didn't have a rifle. I remember now.
God damn.
Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, okay, so it took me like 20 minutes or longer to like slowly saw through each piece,
Yeah.
and most of them were like not fully intact. There were like little slivers and like wrong cuts that I went in the wrong direction and I had to restart and cut again. So they were like really, really horrible looking. But I showed it to them and they still said, like, I think they feel sorry for me at this point. So I think they're like, sure, we'll take those. They're probably just gonna like take them and then leave them on a shelf in the store somewhere. That's what I'm assuming, because they obviously are like the worst pork chops ever. They look like they look worse than the ones that are going to expire like tomorrow. But they take them anyway for God knows why. And even like I cut off like little scraps that weren't really part of anything, and he's like, "What are you doing with those? Are those just fat?" I'm like, "No, those are little pieces that I cut off and I was gonna throw away." He's like, "No, I'll take those too." Like, okay, whatever. And then I wrapped them up and I gave it to them, and they walked away. And I hope they left them on a shelf somewhere, because I don't want the thought of that going through the cash register and somebody looking at it. It was not my finest moment. I kind of went upstairs and wept for a while after that. Ugh.
Nice.
Pritchard, I'm in an elevator leading to the Pangu. Any security features I should know about ahead?
Nothing too taxing, I suspect. The Pangus used mostly for maintenance and storage. Look for a second elevator once you're there. It'll carry you straight into the tower.
This fucking. I went to the deli and used their meat slicer.
We actually have a meat slicer in the back of the meat department, and I thought about using it, but I'm like, I don't know if this is the correct way either. And I also don't want to clean this after I do it. So, I'm going to use a knife. It was not a good idea.
No.
I should have told them to go away.
Can't do that. Customer's always right, especially when they're wrong.
Yeah, I know. Oh, I know.
Especially when they're wrong. Oh, there's another place. There it is. There we go. Oh crap. Crap, biscuits. There we go. Trailblazer.
Oh, great.
Son of a bitch. Whatever, I don't even care.
Alright, so, story number 2. This was the day after. So, you probably know that I work with Colton sometimes.
Yes.
And that's not going to mean anything to anybody that's listening to this.
Unless you know Colton.
Unless you know Colton. We went to school with him in like high school, and he's like, at times he can be funny and like enjoyable to be around,
Jensen, what
but
is it you're looking for exactly?
he doesn't know how to turn that off when he's like during class or during work, he doesn't know how to stop being an idiot. So, keep that in mind, and it's really annoying.
The first corridors you'll pass through will be public.
So,
You might want to keep any weapons concealed.
Copy that.
I was working with him in the meat department again. And he gets off his shift in about an hour. And I start, and then I take over, like, from then on and close after he leaves. So,
This is unacceptable.
I started cleaning up, like, right away, because I didn't want to be there forever. And so while he's still there, I'm just, like, in the, like, kind of in the back, just, like, wiping down the counters and stuff like that. And then he's up at the front. He's helping some lady with, she wants something out of, like, the display case. Like, she wanted, like, 3 ribeye steaks, I think. So, he's getting that out for her and kind of, like, wrapping it up and whatnot. And she's, like, really kind of odd. Like, the first thing she said when she came up to the counter was, "Do you have any duck fat?" Like,
yes.
we have duck. We have, like, duck roasts that might have lots of fat in them. We might be able to open it up and cut it out for you if you want just fat.
And actually,
Maybe.
that question does make a little bit of sense, except you'd only be able to purchase that in an actual butcher shop.
Even the butchers...
Because she'd be using that to cook in.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, people buy, like, beef, or get beef fat and stuff all the time, and we just, like, give it to them for free. But duck fat is not
It's one of the
a
other
normal
choices.
thing to find.
Yeah.
And we told her that we had, like, beef fat and stuff, too, and she's like, no, I
Where
need
do you
duck
think
fat.
you're going? The
Like,
data
okay,
core
well, we
room
don't
is
have
for
that.
authorized
She's like,
personnel
well,
only. You're not
Since I'm
gonna
here, I
get
might
in
as well
there.
get, like, something. I'll buy 3 steaks.
You're
Why not?
kidding me. They
So
sent
he's
me all the
helping
way up here
her
without
with
the
that,
correct
and I was
authorization
behind him.
papers.
And I could hear,
Man, what I
while he's
wouldn't
doing
give to
that,
be one of you
he's
security
struggling with
guys.
something.
You probably got the right
He's like,
clearance, right?
not being very
I bet you got
speedy,
free
and he's
access
kind
to
of,
every room in this building.
he's struggling
Almost.
with something. I don't really
And
know,
what
I
I
don't
can't
really
get
know
into,
or
I can
really
usually
care
see
what.
on the security
So I'm
room
kind of doing my own
monitors.
thing,
Like
just
the
not
room
really paying
next
attention to
door.
what he's doing.
Tell me,
So,
is that the only security
suddenly,
room monitoring the
he
data
just,
core?
like,
No,
walks
there's a
away,
second one inside.
and he says,
doesn't show as much, but it does control
Kyler,
most of the
can you
lasers in there.
take
And
over
it's
for me and help her, please?
Nice.
Yeah,
And he walks
except
away. I'm like,
sometimes the cold air coming out of the vent
okay,
fucks
sure,
up one of the
why not?
lasers.
Whatever.
Damn thing starts blinking.
So I start helping her.
Maintenance
He
is
got, like,
supposed to
2
take a look
3
at it,
steaks
but the
out,
way
and I
things
was
move
getting,
around
like,
here, I
asking
ain't
her
holding
which
my
one she
breath.
wanted.
I know what
Take
you
it out.
mean.
So
Slowest department in the
he's
building.
leaving, and he walks out,
But
like,
then
the
they
back door
probably can't get
into,
the
like, the
clearance.
back room where the customers aren't are.
Yeah.
And, like, I watch him, like, leave, and as the door is closing behind him, I hear, like, this really, really loud laughter from, like, his laughter from behind the door. And she hears it as well. We both hear it, and we kind of look at each other. And I realize now that the reason he was struggling is because for some reason he was trying not to laugh, and he couldn't hold it. So he asked me to come take his place. And when I realize this, now it's hilarious to me. And now I'm struggling not to laugh. And she knows I'm struggling not to laugh. And I assume she's not happy about this because it's gonna look like we're laughing at her about something. So I'm kind of, like, trying to wrap up her 3 steaks and just kind of, like, looking down, kind of, so my head's, like, under the counter, kind of.
Yeah.
And I'm trying really hard not to make sound while I'm like laughing to myself. And of course, there's like the 3 steaks, which is like side by side, is not the easiest thing to wrap up.